Hi, this is AK Sarah from Middleware Inventory or DevOps Junction. Now, in this quick video, we are going to see how to add an SSH key to a running AWS instance using Ansible. So, the requirement which made me write this post or record this video is it's quite simple. That let's say that you are working for an enterprise company and a big DevOps team is there, and you are hiring a new employee where you have to give him an access, SSH access to him for n number of servers. Let's suppose like 50 to 100 servers. You cannot add his public IP to each individual instance by logging in or doing SSH keygen, SSH copy ID or something, right? So what I did is I found a way with Ansible because I'm fascinated by Ansible simplicity and easiness, I would say. So let's go ahead and see how I did it. I am not saying that this is the right way, but this is quite proven and it's working with me. And if you are finding any easiest way, you can just let me know in the comments. So I actually if when I say this, you might have been actually thinking about the latest EC2 instance connect feature of AWS, but I don't think that it would serve as a viable because it is a temporary SSH key adding kind of a mechanism based on my knowledge and understanding. So correct me if I'm wrong. So let's go ahead and get into this post and just see how we are going to use. Now we are having some requirements, like we have to have some EC2 instances running in a running state, so which is, I think you might be obviously having it because you are here. So second is we have to have a key pair, the private key access associated with an instance. So if you are working with AWS or a seasoned AWS infrastructure admin, you might have definitely had a chance to create servers and consoles and stuff. So where you might have actually come across something like private key and the key pair. So whenever you're creating instance at the last step, you would be prompted to allocate a key pair to each instance that you are creating. So in my case, I have a key pair named Saraveke private key, and which is kind of misleading, but it's actually a key pair. So it's so what happens is when you are creating a key pair, you can create your key pairs right in here somewhere. Where is this? You know what? It is, yeah, key pairs. So if you go here, you can actually see what are the key pairs you have. I have a key pair here. So Saraveke private key, I stupidly named it, so don't blame me. So you can create a key pair and you can assign it to whenever you're creating an instance. So this key pair can be used to while SSHing into the server. So if you are not aware of private key and public key stuff, maybe I would give a little quick overview. Private key is something that you have in your the user would be having it with himself, which he will not reveal it to anyone. And the public key is something that you would have it on the server. So when you are trying to SSH to the server, you have to present your private key, like you would be having it in a PEM file or something like that, and it would start with private key something. So if you I have my private key here, the private key Saraveke private keys private key. So I can just show you. It would start like this. For security reasons, I can actually not show you the entire private key, but I would show how it would start. It would have something like this: begin RSA private key, end RSA private key. So this is your private key, and the public key would be inside the server. So this is my terminal and it is my MacBook. I just have it in here. So now as you could see here, I have 4 running instances. If you see here, yeah, I think it's 4, and all 4 of them are having this key pair, the Saraveke private key pair associated with it. And yeah, they have a different security groups. That's a different thing. Now if I wanted to, let's suppose that I wanted to SSH to my test server, so I have to take the public IP and I can just do like SSH-I, and I would have to say that where I have my private key. So my private key file is this, and okay, so the copy and paste is having so it's 3.92.185.186. yeah. So this is the server. I need to also say which user that I have to be using. So this is a Ubuntu box. So how do I know that this is a Ubuntu is I've created it. So if you wanted to know, you can just go and check the there is a way. Okay, maybe we will check it at the last point. So now anyways, so I have a Ubuntu box here, and I can actually do just like this. SSHI, permanently added. Yes, you can see that I have successfully SSH'd and logged into the server. Now, so I don't want this now. I can let's say that I'm an administrator and I have this the Sarava key, private key, let's call it as a root key, which is associated with all the EC2 instances in your company, and but you cannot share this key with everyone, right? Obviously. So, and you should not take this key out of a box where it belongs. I mean, it should be kept in a very safe, like a Coca-Cola's a secret. It's your very secret ingredient, something. So you should have this in a very safe place, which should not be revealed or fall in wrong people's hand. Anyways, now it's generally not recommended to use this key to log in. So you should add your own key, or whoever, like let's say you have 8 administrators in your team, 8 DevOps admins in your team, you have to add each of their keys into the server so that they can use their own key, so that you would be able to track who has logged in, what actions was done at later point of time. Now, so I just logged out. I don't really want this way. So let me do something like okay, I would just have to add a new user named like Rohit, or maybe let's say that myself, like I have my key Sarah. So I have if you look at this, is my username is Sarah. So I would like to add my key, like my public key, into the server so that I can just log in. So you don't have to it's not important, or it's not necessary that you have to go ahead and create an IAM user in the server, like for all the people that you hire in your team who should have an SSH access. It's really not recommended to create multiple IAM users. You would lost track of who has what access and everything. So anyways, now I have my key at my base location, SSH ID RSA.pub. So this is my public key of the user Sarah, which is in terminal. So now you see that I just used the private key.pen. Okay, so I don't basically want this. Let's say that I'm the new guy and I don't have access to this Saravaki private key, and I do like this, and I don't think that it would work, because it would say permission denied. My user, who am I, Sarah, is not allowed to SSH. So I should be able to log in my public ID to the server, to this remote server, which is 3.92, the test server, so that I would be able to log in. Now let's see how we are doing it. Here I have to do this, I have an Ansible playbook written. I just have a directory named EC2 Add Key, in which in which I have two files. One is addkey.yml, which is my playbook. So this is my quick playbook, and a host file. I'm not using the basic and default etc Ansible host inventory file. I'm just using the custom inventory file for all of my projects, so that I can easily able to isolate the projects. So I have an Ansible host file here, and I'm using Ansible version. Okay, I don't know how to check this. Is it -f version? Yes, I have Ansible 2.8.2. Let's go back. lslrt addkey.yml. Now okay, you can just actually read about what is this play and everything in the post. So we have a post associated. You can find the post link in youtube.com. in the description section. So if you have come from the middleware.com post, you would be already reading it now. Anyways, so let's go ahead and just see and add the host into Ansible host file. So I have a host group named host to add key, so which is very like a good name. You can just easily understand like what is this host group. So we have to add a list of hosts to which we are going to add the the SSH key. So let's suppose I have created a new instance. This is my new instance and I was not able to log in, right? So I just added it, and let's say that we create a one more instance. I say launch more like this. I want to create one more, let's say just for quick testing, and it's a T2 micro. Launch it, choose a key pair, Saravaki private key, yes, acknowledge, that's it. Now I have a new server. Okay, do I have a public IP associated? Yes. So this is my new test server 2. Let's call it test server 2 something. So that's the first server, this is the second server. Okay, now we have 2 servers. I think I should click on the tick mark. Okay, sir. Now, so I have 2 hosts, I mean 2 EC2 instances with a public IP. I have them, and escape, I just save it. So I have 2 hosts, and I'm going to add myself my public key into these 2 servers. Let's wait for this to get started. Come on. Okay, so 5 of them running. Yes, so it's anyways initializing. I think we would be ready. Okay, now let's quickly check if we are able to ping this server. So Ansible and the host group name. Oh, I have a poor memory and I forgot the host. Okay, this is a host group name. Ansible host group name and module -m ping. Okay, I must pass my host file also. Ansible host to add key. So it says permission denied, which is pretty much I was expecting. Anyways, so for first we are testing it. We have not yet added our key into the server yet. So let me use the root key. Yeah. So I should not be using -i. That's a stupid thing. Okay. I should use - key file. Yeah. So what does it say? Connect to the host. Okay, I need to also mention the username. I should use like what is the remote user. So to mention the remote user, I have to use -user or -u. Either is fine. Now I just have to put let's say this is a Ubuntu, right? So Ubuntu, test it. Okay, it should give us a green. Okay, come on. Yes, that's success. Okay, so we have successfully able to ping the server, and we got a response as well. Now I don't want this key file, right? So let's add my key file now. So that's a playbook. That's our objective here. What else? What's next we need to do? Let's run our playbook. Ansible playbook. What's my playbook name? Add key -yml. And wait a minute. So I have to actually use some kind of yeah. So add key.yml. Ansible _ hosts, and the user is Ubuntu. I can just use put Ubuntu here. Not equal to is not enough. I mean, it's not needed. Key -file is where is my file? Downloads Saravaki private key.pem -e. -e is nothing but an extra argument. So this is given. So if you look at the playbook, do we have it here? Yes. If you look at it, like most of the variables, like the Ansible user and the state, everything. So we just using a Jinja filters, like so everything can be overridden during the runtime. So we have deliberately put it so that you can use this generic playbook to use for EC2 user or Ubuntu user or various other users. So that's why we just kept it that way. So you have to pass certain kind of inputs here. So I just need key is equal to temp. No, I don't want. Okay, so what is this? SSH, right? Yeah, SSH ID underscore rc.pub. Is this my file name? Okay, let me quickly check if this path is right. Okay, lsLRT. Yeah, the file is here. So let me clear the screen so that you would be able to see it clearly. Yeah, so I have the file name. Now let's quickly run this playbook in here. So what and all we have for the playbook. So we need to say an Ansible user is the username that we are passing here, and it would be taken from this user. This is the user that we are going to use, and the status is present, which means that we are going to add. You can pass press status equal to absent at the with the -e to delete it if you want to delete the user at a later point. Maybe I would just show it later. And this is a key, so if no key is given, it by default it would take SSH ID RSA.pip. So I mean the local user, whoever is running. Now so let's run this quickly and just verify what does it have for us. So playbook to add key to the newly provisioned EC2 instance, gathering facts. Okay, so meanwhile I have you I think it's the yes, that's great. So we are done. We have just like that added our private key. So I hope you remember that when we tried earlier, we were not able to execute, we were not able to log in using this command, right? So now I just do it, SSH Ubuntu word, and I just logged in. Yes, so that's how I did it. So, and what is the other server IP, which is 52.91.250, right? So SSH Ubuntu @ yep. Am I able to do it? Yes. So I'm able to successfully log into both these servers with my local private key. So you might wonder why I have not mentioned -i, because it is my local. So by default the SSH would present my local. So you can either try something like this, maybe by mentioning your private key -app dot SSH ID RSA dot I don't know what is our private keys extension, so maybe it would, let's check this, lsLRT dot SSH. Okay, it's ID RSA, no extensions anyway. So ID RSA Ubuntu @52.91.205.106. yeah, you can. Oh man, so just use it like SSH -i. Yeah, so you can just do it like this also if you are doing it like with a very appropriate way. So you don't have to actually mention -i, because this is my local user, so it would by default take that private key. So that's why I just execute this command without specifying -i. So if you are adding somebody's user, like somebody else user, like the new employee, so you can ask him to try both -i and without -i. So just in case if you are not having a default user on your terminal. Anyway, so now we have successfully added, we are able to SSH, we have also verified it. So let me clear the screen and let's try something. So we have successfully added the key into the service, and we also SSH'd and tested it, right? So now let us try to remove the key that we have added. So let's use the same Ansible Playbook command, and now let's pass one more argument, which is status. Instead of status present, I'm just going to mention it as absent. As you could see here, I just mentioned absent. So this is to remove the user the key, SSH key that we have added into the server. So it will, if you mention the status as absent, it will make sure that it removes it. So let's run it. So it's actually connecting, and earlier we were able to log into the service with just SSH and just using our my user ID Sarah, and it says nothing has changed. So did I do anything? So let's check SSH first. Okay. Is it there? Okay, it's successfully removed it, and we are not able to log in now. 52.90. Okay, anyways, so we don't have to check the port source. Okay, let's check the other service. 52.91.205.106. okay, yeah, we got permission data. So let's try it once again by mentioning it as present. Status is equal to present. Execute it. Should be changed. Yep, done. Now let's try to do it again. SSH. We are able to log in. That's good. So let's exit, and let's try again with absent, and just leave it at there. I don't want my key to be present inside anyway. So I just have to put status equal to absent and re-execute it. Now it will change. Yep, now I should not be able to log in. It should see permission data. And that's it, folks, for this video, and thank you. And if you like this video, please subscribe and let your friends know. Just use the comment section if you have any questions to me. If you have any other better approach than this, please feel free to share with us, share with me. Thank you.